Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a silver tank. I believe we're primarily going to be looking at Orisa, but we've certainly seen Gamebuster's Diva before as well. Though that one he can push that one higher if he wants to. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. And disclaimer for this one, I am quite tired right now, so I may, if I fall asleep in front of the keyboard, you know, fair warning. Sorry. Okay, so here we go. We're going to open up with our micro missiles there. We're going to play an off angle. Preferably the high ground off angle. Like, yes, I know you're looking, going, did we have that taken before? Is that why we didn't want to do it? No.
Ready. One.
Ash was in it, yeah.
Stop the payload.
She then just drops. Okay, so you'd have taken it if she hadn't dropped. That's fine. Or you'd have taken it if she was there so you weren't taking it. Fine. Disclaimer, I have had a little pause and my gameplay quality has drastically lowered. That's fine. You'll get it back. We'll shake off some rust. Okay, this could be a great play. Be quiet. Be quiet. No, you're early. So if you chill back here and they don't in a very disciplined manner turn and clear you out, and they just do the look at the pretty red things on their screen, on your screen blue things, look at the pretty blue things ahead of us, let's go walk forward and shoot at them. And then as they do that, you actually go yeah, walk forward and shoot at them, and you hit your boosters and you scoot through one of them with your boosters to knock them even closer to the pretty blue things, and then the pretty blue things eat them alive. That's what we'd potentially like to do. But you peeking out early here, you get a little bit more angle damage, a little bit more pressure. It's maybe the more reliable play. But the thing is, I don't want to risk being stuck here. I don't want to have to go, okay, well, now I use my boosters and I end up here. Like, I get a little done, then I use my boosters and I get here, and I can do a little more. This isn't bad. But I would have liked to go for, hey, you guys will be pushing forward naturally. I bet I can time my boop at a moment. Go in like this, time my boop at a moment to knock one of them in, and just be like, we have a big concave on you now. I bet we can do that. Gamebuster plays EU, yes. At least, I believe so. He could be playing elsewhere, I suppose.
Routing power to forward shield.
Tiny bit slow on the DM there. Which is a shame, because I was just about to compliment you on the discipline of not DMing the Reinhardt that was swinging. Leave. No. So here's the thing. I get it, I really do. It's over. If you touch the card and get out, there's a little bit of value, but you can very easily get out right now. There's no question that you can get out, and that'll mean you get another fight of 6. You don't have to touch the cart to stop it. It's not like, oh, it's right here where it's about to happen. You're going to get another fight of 6, and your best way to get another fight of 6 right now is to leave. Not to go in and then try to get out, because even if you do that, you're going to take like 400 or 500 damage, and then you're going to have to like get healed up before they can go back in, and the team is going to get dragged forward by you going up. We don't want that. We would be so much better just leaving right now so that we get our fight with full numbers. You wanted to contest for a second? Yeah, I see that, but think about what that costs. Apparently not very much. Think about what that should have cost, might be the better answer to that. What it did cost you is a fair rocket and getting discorded. What it should have cost you is a fair rocket, getting discorded, eating another fair rocket, probably taking some Hanzo shots, getting hit by a couple Zen shots. Like, that's what it should have cost for 1 second of stop. It should have cost you quite a bit more than just, hey, I took 125 health and used my booster's cooldown. Should have cost more than that. Should have been more like that, yeah, in terms of what it cost. And you didn't get enough to justify that cost. Okay, we like our gun. Did pop storm. Apparently Genji doesn't believe in storm arrows. Sadly, that does not stop them from interacting with him.
You're powered up. Get in there.
To be fair, if I was Storm Arrow, I'm not sure I'd believe in Genji either.
What me?
No? No. We're not mid-ranging this.
You're powered up. Get.
We're not mid-ranging this. I get it, you're trying to slow down the fight, but if you're trying to slow down the fight, again, I'd like you to just go, hey, I'm going to make a play with this. We've already fallen behind. I've been given Nano to try and do something with it. And the play I'm thinking about is I can get right into Reinhardt's face and blown up now with double damage or half damage taken. Or as soon as his bubble's gone, I can boop him in this way. And then he's in this spot where he can't hit Ashe, but Ashe pings down on him. Our Reinhardt holds theirs out. Like I would like to see more of this boop them into your team play from you today on these angles. I was confused with this Ana boost. Oh, got it. Yeah, I mean, you're sort of mid-ranging. That doesn't mean you can't do anything with it. It looks like you're going to try to mid-range, going to try to use the micros. It's not what you want. In this situation, I'd have probably said, hey, that bubble's going to be gone by the time I get there. Let's hit this shift and use this nano to boop the Rhine in. But such is life.
To raise my APM.
What me? With it.
Though to be fair, if they're popping their nano on Zen when he's not being dove, I guess all's fair, right? You'll have equally questionable nanos. There we go. And now we're on to the Orisa. And I think we're mostly playing Orisa through the rest of the match. So for your diva, I like that you're taking the off angles. I like that you're thinking about the high ground. I did not like that contest on point there because, again, it just wasn't better than backing off and coming back. You were too likely to lose your mech, too likely to, even if you don't lose your mech, then your team has to spend a ton of time healing you up, which actually loses you more space before your team's ready to fight. So I didn't like that. But I would like you to start looking for some of these while you're using these angles. What can you do with them type thing? Like, yes, you can go after the backline type thing, but sometimes it's, hey, I'm just going to punish the front line. Let me send their guy. I know their Reinhardt's getting aggressive. Even if they're a brawly Reinhardt here, and he's got his team like this, ready to support him, and you just go, nah, your Reinhardt's already walking forward because he's trying to approach, and I boost her in here, and before he realizes, that's it, I boop him forward even more, he's going to go super forward, and your team is going to be like, oh, don't mind if we do, and wipe him out. So I'd like to see a little bit more of thinking about that play from these angles, given the angle play that you are doing as Diva. Obviously, there's room to improve our matrix and not get hit by fire strikes and things like that, but those are longer term goals that we never really let go of. So let's keep working on the matrix, but let's also look for some of this stuff as we work our way through here. And then, the real trick is don't get questionable nano boosts. I'm kidding. You don't control that. Check your space. Sure. Halt, halt. What? Excuse me? Second game is 8 minutes of Diva, but this game is all Orisa from now on. Okay.
Safety, get behind the barrier.
So here you are. There's this nice purple that was hit. I like it. I like it. I don't want these opponents to get away, and I think they're going to try to back away because we hit a purple. So I would like to throw me some halt action right down here to yoink them back in. It's halt right at the ground right there is perfectly fine. They're going to try to rotate away. It's going to keep the Reinhardt there. It's going to probably stop these guys from getting away. And that still works. Remember, if they get halted like this, it actually applies a slow to people when they get halted. You just don't notice it if you do high halts because the slow has fallen off by the time they get to the ground. But you'll still yoink them. You'll still sort of be like, nope, this isn't your spot if you do a low halt right here. Alternatively, you could do a high halt. A high halt more like Kirish to try to be like, hey, more actually like Kirish to try to yank back out someone that's going behind cover that you think is going to do it. But both of those would be halts that we could hit, which is better than the halt that we don't hit, which is no halt at all. You forgot until halts existed off a minute later. Oh, some would say you would forgot the entire point of Orisa, the reason to play the hero. Okay. Halt, halt, halt. So much halt. So much halt. No, you can't back up. No, she's already too close to your barrier. You should immediately realize your mistake and walk forward into your barrier, because you have to have your barrier to dance with. Your barrier works for you to dance with. It doesn't work for her to dance with. Yes, she's gonna have closer respawns if you walk up, but like, don't do this backup thing. You're taking this situation where you actually have an advantage. And now you're in a pretty even situation again, which definitely didn't have to be the case. Again, I'm not saying you 100% would have gotten the Hanzo, but this situation would have been better. Why?
I recommend moving behind my barrier.
Okay. Sorry about that. You have yourself a barrier, and this is... You have yourself a barrier, and this is the hold you've decided you want to make. Zarya's right there. Cool. You had someone who was thinking about high ground, low ground. Maybe not so much anymore. There we go. Over here. Cool. But now you're just like, nah, I don't want it. I'm not taking my space that I've earned. I'm not. I'm gonna reload in their face again. This reload in their face thing, and then these halts hurt your reload. They make your reload that is already a very long reload take forever. Reload cancels are great on Orisa. They save quite a bit of time on her very, very long reload. Reloads that get canceled, not so much. We don't like those.
System restart initialized.
Yeah. No reason panic. Yeah, we know. Fortify could have helped there. It's certainly true. We would like to have a cooldown. We would like to play Orisa with more cooldowns besides shield and shoot/reload. We would like to use our other cooldowns. They do help us win games. Oh yeah, hold cancels reload. I don't usually like highly recommend it as your reload cancel though. In the good way, because again, it's so important. It's so important that you're getting those halts out when the opportunities they're there, so you don't want to sort of have to force it on bad ones. But also, yeah, I mean, you want to be able to shoot right away when you do your halts, whatever. So we definitely don't want halts to cancel our reload, because we will get very little of our value out of them. And halt is sort of like a shatter, where you are responsible for not all by any means, but a decent portion of your follow-up on halts. Sure. Reasonable guess. Didn't work out that way. Okay. Just so you're aware, it didn't really come up here, but if you're thinking, I need a barrier, I need my next barrier to be up in that corner, and I'm okay with that thought process, I don't necessarily agree with it, but if you think that's the case, no problem. Fortify is your friend. Fortunately, you're not getting shot at, so no problem. Fortify to rotate out. Really don't need to hide our head hitbox. Remember, Fortify made it so that we are uncrittable. We can't be crit when we're in Fortify, so I'd kind of like the information of what the enemies are up to, how our team is doing. I'd like that more than just staring at our team in the side. That would be more useful to me while I'm Fortified. Orisa is just a throw pick versus their comp, I feel like. Orisa as a throw pick versus their comp. Not really. They have some brawl, but they have lots of poke, and our Orisa has some brawl, but also has some poke. It's not the hero to pick, but it's not like this is a particular throwy hero in general, especially on this, especially in teams that do have some level of poke. Gamebuster says, hide my head hitbox. Yes, that's what I did. I did not look down to avoid falling down. Well, you get there. Okay, Val says, temporal based on how Gamebuster plays. What benefits him more? Enable his aggression or support the rest of the team so he doesn't have to worry about it? Enable. Based on how Gamebuster plays, what benefits him more? Enable his aggression or support the rest of the team so he doesn't have to worry about it? Like if you're a Mercy, if you're the Mercy on Gamebuster's team here, and for all I know you're hiding behind secret alt accounts. Let's think about that. I mean, Gamebuster should still be trying to hit timings that are times where the McCree can open the flank, that are times when the Genji can finish the dash, etc. Or Gamebuster just trying to keep a tempo, which you can't really do anymore, could be, hey, this is the pressure to allow our Genji to go on long flanks and find the late payoff, etc. So, like, which to do more? Let's watch some more gameplay and I'll tell you. Not that. That's so passive. I get that you sort of mentally decided that this was your choke, this was what you want to hold, but now that these guys have taken one step back, like one step back, how are you feeling about that 10-second cooldown? Yeah. So we want to be a little bit careful with that, and it's why you sometimes see these aggressive shields. It's why you sometimes don't always see shields that are just perfectly on the corner that we want to hold. They're actually on the next corner, so the other team actually does have to fight through them, and in doing so, they risk their backline not being able to interact with their front line, and that's very bad for the front line. So that's sort of the part of the why on shields going more forward. It's also something that you kind of need to do when you're playing offense. You need to go, I'm going to get more aggressive with my shields to take the space. That's not like, oh, I'm constantly throwing my shields to split the other team. That's not it. But throwing your shield in a place where you can go, hey, I see that. Let's go back to when you actually throw this. You have full health, you don't have fortify. This is really, really passive. Whereas if we throw our shield up here, all that's bothering us is a Zarya, so like not the end of the world, and we have the option then to go, hey, I can play from here, like the other corner, or I can range out and threaten a lot more of the instance, or some more of the instance. Instance, what are my words? Words are hard. Of the route. Yes. Okay. I was mostly trying to get them away from the payload, prevent it from moving. Here's the thing, if you throw this shield up here and you walk up to the shield, they're still not getting to the payload. Like, look at this. Is Hanzo going to run over to the payload? Good luck, Hanzo. Run over to the payload. A, you're going to halt him if he does that, but B, he's being checked. He's got a Genji towards him. Hopefully this Genji's not going to have to 1v2 the Hanzo and the Harmony Orb, because Harmony Orb is totally a full person. But I'm not too worried about that. Like, I see what you're saying, but this would be like, what you're doing is sort of doing the, well, I'm Reinhardt, and I'll put my shield up so that I can stop that direction and that direction. We know that's not ever the right answer, not almost never the right answer on Reinhardt. We want to instead go, hey, I'll rotate out, so maybe I'm over here, and these two directions are a much narrower angle against me. Or I will go, okay, well, let me hard push the close angle, and then I can pivot on the hard push and maybe use cover in some way against the other angle and fight this one. And that's kind of exactly what would happen here. If you push and take this angle, and it's not that hard of a push, you can do that, and then you can go, hey, I've got this, and I can drive back the Zarya from here, and I can use this to hide from the Hanzo if I have to. And yes, if they do go, nope, we're overwhelming you from both directions, you're in trouble, but it's not really on you to control this Hanzo. It's not right now. You do have, I mean, yes, you are sort of the out tank, but you do have the Genji for this. You do have the McCree. You can put some damage pressure on him, certainly. You can get an elimination if he gets messy, but you don't need to do that from here. No halt to try to seal the deal? No. Okay. He's not actually that weak. Your Genji is that weak. So we remember that we have halt. And it interrupts our reload again. Again, this one hurts. Timing your fortify.
This gunslinger's loaded.
System restart initialized. The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Uh-oh. Where are you going to play from? Where are you going to play from? Here? Okay. Could be good with your supercharger. But this is my problem. Your team, unsurprisingly and inevitably, is going to back up to here, and you're going to be stuck if you don't preemptively realize it and rotate with them. But maybe you're going to make a big enough, decisive enough move that your team will charge in forward. Oh no. Oh no. Fortify behind shield? That's a rookie play. The real play is to fortify behind hard cover. Like, yeah, this is the real play right here. Don't do this. I know, you're worried about boobs. Don't do this. Was that a called barrier? Like, this could have been a good barrier.
Routing navigation systems to defense.
I feel like your team could have been ready here. Maybe your team is paying enough attention and they were ready. It doesn't really feel like it, but maybe. Previously fortified with minded. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Good try. Ultimately, we're in a situation where... Let me go back here. Like, we do definitely have the ability to go, hey, Supercharger just wins this fight. Like, these guys can't advance past this, and I do kind of want to do that because I want to keep these guys here. I want to keep this hard to pass thing. That does work pretty well for us with the poke that we're running. Well, maybe not, but it does work well for you as Orisa. Now they're already in your face, and they'll take this down too quickly. But now you've got another Q option. Press the Q. It's still a 6v6. It's still a 6v6. Right here. It's relatively safe. It'll affect your whole team, except maybe Reinhardt. It's great. Little too deep, but mostly too late into the fight. They would have had a much harder time before your team had started to cower a bit and before they'd taken those last couple steps. Like, they would have had so much more trouble on those last couple steps if this supercharger had been down a little earlier, making these guys poke stronger from back here as well as your own.
I must rejoin my team.
Okay, pressure to give their Anna Nano. I mean, to get them. No, I don't think so.
I recommend moving
Are
behind
you doing
my
this
barrier.
because your team has shown that they're ready to pull? To push? To do their work? This team pulls. You push. This team pushes. You push back. Okay. Are you doing this because you think your team is ready for you to go aggressive here? I'm not as convinced as you are. Would help if I was on the right team over here. So we've got our Mercy, we've got this. That's what I thought. Like, Anna's back here. McCree's not really in, like, hey, effective range. Yeah, that's totally a thing, etc. Not quite here yet. McCree's not set up on an angle. McCree's not set up on an angle. McCree's not set up over here. Like, this isn't Genji is just still walking in. He's not set up to, hey, I'm going to throw from here. Hey, I've climbed over type thing. Like, this looks a little bit early to me. I actually would have preferred that this just be generic passive spam from up here. You save your shield, and I bet in second and a half, 2 seconds, you'd have an even better shield. Maybe even a shield for Reinhardt to swing through, because you know that this is going to happen. Like an aggressive shield here, not so much to split the team, but kind of to split the team, and kind of so that when they retreat, your Reinhardt still gets to shoot through it. That could be a pretty great one. Instead of what we did.
Justice reigns from above.
I jumped down to help my team and provide a shield. You jumped down to provide a shield? I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. People can use cover. Cover. The shield isn't to provide your team a shield. The shield is to go, hey, here's a shield here, and this shield here is something that you enemies have to spend time destroying, and if you don't, I'm going to put out pretty reliable damage here, so you better destroy this and make me leave, and while you're destroying that and making me leave, you just get plinked and deleted. The shield isn't to actually protect people standing behind it, other than you have to remove the shield before you can deal with us, which really means the person who's somewhere else does more work. It also helps you do more work. I'm not going to underplay that, because you do get increased uptime by having the shield. But it's not shielding your team
Stop right there.
most of the time.
Please move behind the barrier.
Let's get you fighting.
Don't move.
But yeah, it was kind of bad. The good news is it pulled out almost all their ults. Jumped under the shield. Why wouldn't you try halting them off the bridge? Yeah, that's a reasonable play. Prevent enemy to synergize, because my brain didn't think of that cool idea. I am the shield. Oh no, don't be the shield. Don't be the shield. You were so close, Game Buster. Don't fall to the dark side. Don't do it. Don't be the shield bot. What? Okay, you're trying to be aggressive, and you probably stay aggressive because you have the Anonade. Then you go, whoops, this got bad. I guess I am going to fortify for this peak, because I'm peaking at 3/4 health. Okay.
For your safety,
Nope, didn't
please
need to
move
drop this
behind
yet.
the barrier.
Could drop this, but would have been more passive if I had. I'm not ready to go take this space. I'm actually perfectly okay playing passive, and I'm going to protect my shield with the last bit of my fortify. That's something I'd probably have preferred here.
You're covered.
Not so fast. I recommend moving behind the barrier.
Okay, reasonable shield.
You're not getting away.
You're focusing too hard. You need a fresh shield. Okay. They have their Orisa solution. Doesn't look like it. Be selfish, not the shield. You never know if anyone will bother capitalizing on your openings, and you provide unless you tell them, and even then it's 50-50. Right, which is why even as a tank, you can sometimes get away with, well, capitalize on the openings other people prevent. Oh, my Genji did chip damage to something, now I want to jump on that target. My Pharaoh hit a rocket, now I want to roll into that target. You know, that's the trick to doing it as tank. Like, yes, you can absolutely be the one who sets it up, sets the advantage, but you can also just do a lot. Anyway, that's fine. Hold him back. Okay. Yeah, you have to supercharger. We gotta get faster on those shields. Just the mechanical deployment of them. You're gonna pressure the Pharaoh, sure. Were you aware of your low ammo when the shield was up? You were. So this can't happen. Like, you don't desperately need this barrier out, so you gotta be paying more attention for I'm low ammo. If you're like 30 ammo or less, that's not a hard number, but if you're like 30 ammo or less and you're thinking, hey, it would be cool to lay down a shield, you frequently want to try to get the reload in there first. Not always, there's absolutely exceptions, but remember, since your shield is primarily enabling you to hold open a spot that you couldn't usually hold open or take a spot that you couldn't usually take, we want to make sure that to do something with that angle that we're holding open, or to help discourage the enemies from being mean to us while we're taking that spot, we want to make sure that we have bullets we can shoot at them. Bullets make a reasonable discouragement, apparently, in Overwatch. Genji's trying to fly. Got the job done. And Halt could have made that fair miserable. Yeah, this shield is getting a little into, oh, I'm just going to stack shields and shield up time, and that's the key. And it's really not. It's about using the shield at the moment, or using the shield when your team is aggressing. And by aggressing, that can mean angles with poking, not just walking forward. Though there's going to be some walking forward here. That was such an easy uphold, but okay. Why can't Orisa reload while throwing a shield there? Separate arms. Balance, but it's annoying. To be fair, Reaper can't reload while using his shift either. He can't. If you try to use Reaper's reload and you hit shift, it'll cancel your reload. It'll give you a full clip because shift gives you a full clip, but you can't do the reload thing. Oh, okay. Bad comparison. Yeah. Her balance should be fine. She has 4 legs. There we go. There we go. That's the way. Oh.
Ready for battle.
Trouble, Genji?
On my best behavior.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds. I will simulate our upcoming mission to identify all possible outcomes.
Must violence always be the solution?
The cable is so tangled, hurts my soul. I get it. I get it. It's been very hard to keep this one straight. Which means it's a constantly losing battle. But hey.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I hope your soul feels better.
Attackers incoming. Escort the payload.
Okay. Oh, off-angle Orisa. Okay. What are we going to do with our off-angle nastiness? Sure. Drop the shield, or drop the... Words are hard. Close the angle. Pressure them. Yep. Some pressure on those 200 HP heroes, even if you're... Oh, but the halts! Come on, that's so many halts that we can't, like, you're just like, oh, I can't shoot, so let me press the other buttons. No. Our halt is a big deal, and we're not getting much value out of it at all. This makes me sad. Like, halt is over. It's over by the time you can shoot. That's totally what I do. Yeah. Let's try and fix that. That's okay. So this one was good. We're looking at this. This might have even been a hair too on the aggressive side. We could have flipped this. 90 degrees or 45 degrees and still been good with it, because we don't need to give them the chance to shoot at the blue shield when they can't see us. But we didn't have any desire to take this corner from them. We're looking at this. We're like, no, if we can keep you off the point, we're plenty happy. We don't want to push out here, get eliminated, and maybe let you stop us. So I would have liked to turn this a little bit. But, at least it wasn't right back here. It was up here. But even better would have been a little bit more of a turn to it. Uses a shell that you sort of are like, oh, hey, I have my shield a little bit more like this, and I'm here shooting into it. So I've got the pillar as one set of cover I can use, and the shield as the other that's curved against the opponents without giving them quite as much to shoot at. Can't shoot both, so I can shoot all. Yeah, I got it. Why is it okay for Game Buster to take offensive actions without checking what his teammates intend to do? Not worth it at 2KSR. I mean, Blah's kind of right, but you still have to as main tanks. You get a sense. You really do get a sense of where your teammates are, but also this is fine. Like, this is fine. This isn't a terribly aggressive action because this is very easy to... Mouse, work? Oh, it's going to be one of these days. Prepare Windows sound. Okay. This is one of these things that was very easy for him to back out of. So this was a aggressive action that was not at all very dangerous to him. And remember, he's a tank. He's got a lot of, he's got a little bit of health. That's what they do. They use the fact that they have a little bit of extra health to open up the angle that someone else might get one shot on. And he preferably opened it pretty softly and was very much in a place where, oh, well, that worked for a second, very much in a place where he could back right into his team without having really given anything up but a little bit of health if he'd wanted to do that. Blah is like technically right, but, well, besides the jumping off a cliff that they should follow him right behind it. But the reality is, main tank players, even if that might be technically correct in a team scenario, the only reason that you can expect your team to follow you in is because you first checked where they are, understand where they are, if not checked, at least understand, and are able to go. They're all in positions where they can follow in, so this is where I am going to go ahead and make my push. So I'm going to make my push when they can follow in. And Game Buster's doing a little bit of this with a Sixth Sense, a silver Sixth Sense, but mostly what we're looking at is he's kind of doing what a tank does, and this wasn't a terribly dangerous one. He doesn't need to look everywhere, especially because as Orisa, it's the sort of thing where we want him to aggress with those shields when his team can take advantage of it. That is absolutely better, and that is something that we've covered for him to do in other points of this map, but he doesn't get deleted the same way a Winston does, or a Diva does if they try to dive, or a Reinhardt that walks up and goes, oops, my Ana can't see me anymore, with how these are set up. Just putting a shield down in the act of the shield being aggressive isn't the same as a super far forward throw shield that we then run into. That would be more similar to a Rein potentially running allies that are their Ana.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Yeah, note looked at the cart number, so knew the team was on cart, which meant they had line of sight. Okay. Oh, almost. Still have plenty of ammo to make this halt work. We're throwing the halt. Why is it? Why are you not getting the shots? Why are you not getting the shots? You could have gotten more shots than that out of your halt. I'm not asking you to hit every shot, but you could have gotten easily another 3-4 bullet hits out of that halt.
Thanks.
Ouch. Ouch. Do you remember you have a shield? You do. Oh no. Aha! Oh no. Okay, I keep expecting the full disaster. That was only a series of unfortunate events.
This is not the end.
Raise aim slightly to shoot heads. This is true, or in this case, more than slightly.
Heroes never die.
Nanoboost administered.
Are you gonna halt to help that?
Heroes never.
We have a nano Valk blade going, and we're just like chilling over here. We're not looking for, can we group a bunch of enemies together for him to slash through all of them at once? With his bajillion damage? Like, I want to get to where I can see enemies to halt. I can just beeline towards the enemies, and in this case, beelining towards the enemies was, can I get over here to see stuff? Can I get over here to see stuff? Even if I'm late, even if I'm on his second dash or whatever, can I halt stuff together to help him out potentially? Or can I take a cross angle to help to be a threat over here as my team comes through to support him? Ah, you're asking interference. Okay.
Analyzing previous combat performance. I'm on route. Fall back.
Let's get the payload moving.
Barrier activated.
No. That's a big committal. That's a big committal to waiting on your barrier. I hear you, say Red. No. I can live with the fortified, though you're actually okay if you're fortified to fight this a little bit more. You're discorded, so I can live with backing up. The halt is just like I pressed one button, I should press the next button.
You're not getting away.
I don't think you have an limb here. I don't think you're close to an limb here. And then I pressed another button, so, well, one good button deserves another. No. Now you're giving them a barrier to shoot. We don't like them having a barrier to shoot when we're fortified. And we don't really want to go forward and protect this barrier either because we're discorded, even if we're fortified. So we just wanted to pull this back. Like, we don't have to actually be pushing this card. We can wait here, let our team figure out where else are they pushing from. Are they pushing from a place that has mice that work? Is your team pushing from up here? Is your team pushing from over here? Like, that's okay. You can just sort of half distract this. You can half pay attention here. You don't need to full triple cooldown it. You're going to need one or two of those to aggress. We'd like to have our halt to aggress, and we'd really like to have another one to aggress with the play as well. Well, maybe we'd like one of them to aggress, and we'd like our halt to actually be a big part of the playmaking for our off-angled McCree or Ryan that's going through there.
I'm reporting the payload. Assistant requested.
I was waiting on McCree when you used your shield at the door. Yeah. You just gave away that fortify. Are you going to get anything by fortifying here? Like, aha, you're going to be able to stay in the fight longer. Okay, you're not close to picking up any eliminations. So why are you doing it? Because now you do this when you were about to close the angle, and now you're in this awkward situation where now you're not really going to have tools for the later part of the push, the re-push sort of thing. Like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to push after both of these Zarya bubbles have just faded? Wouldn't that be a good time to push? But you're not going to have this anymore. This is maybe going to be coming back soon, but you'd like to have both of them for the push if you can, if you didn't get good value out of it in the first place, which not so much.
I must rejoin my team.
Heal up.
Sure. This works for me, but I just don't think we need to go over this direction. So this is cool and all, but why do I need to walk this way when I can just be like, nope, didn't you know? Off angle, Orisa. It's the new thing. It's not usually the new thing, but hey, this is a shorter walk for you. You're going to get to punish them for longer, and you can hold this open better. You don't want to get close to things that could potentially fight you. You're happy to fight it with, hey, I'm hard to get to. You'd have to go all the way around to take a ramp. Now you're in this awkward how do I shield thing. And now you can't open your angle very far to the right because you dropped your shield here. That's just a meme. But you have to lead these shots. Like, this is you not leading. Like, you're trying to follow her. You remember how to do this. You played Soldier. She's using a projectile, not a hit scan weapon, so you have to lead more, but it is the same principle that you'd run into when you're playing your Soldier or your Bastion. Oh my goodness. Okay, we are switching mice. It is the same principle you'd run into when you're playing your Soldier or your Bastion, where you're going, hey, I am actually predicting where she's going to move, and then if I'm wrong, I'm hitting the big flick to adjust, and I'm constantly adjusting as she's moving, but I'm adjusting to try to lead her. Now, on a Soldier, you're not actually trying to lead off her body, you're trying to lead her just a little bit, and then in practice, that ends up tending to be you closer to the center of the body than you thought you were going to be. With Orisa, you gotta lead bigger. It's not like way over here, but if Soldier was like here, Orisa's going to have to be, it depends on how far away the target is, because it's a projectile and it has travel time, but might have to be over here with the leading. And again, you make those same flick adjustments if you have to. So it's tracking with flicks, that's what it is, but it's tracking, it's a course of all flicks, and it's with a projectile. So you have to lead more or less depending on how far away the target is. But I can see here, you're not leading, you're just following. Because if you were trying to lead, you would not be constantly playing catch up there. There was maybe a moment of trying to lead there. Then you had your, hey, let's throw halt because we're reloading. Okay. The fortify, oof. The fortify with the shield up is painful. Leave. You didn't have cooldowns and you knew it. You lasted long enough to get fortify back, but whatever. Push up, get your staggers, cleanups.
This is not your time. Oh, thank you.
Right. Yes, if you halt them, you should know exactly where they're going, so it should be very easy to get like 90% plus accuracy during a halt. And even if they dodge away from the halt, them dodging away from the halt, and even if they get out of the halt by dodging away, well, you knew where they were going the whole time, and their movement was more controlled and more predictable, so you should still get a little bit of a damage up out of it. Sure. Let it be, let it be. He's double ulting right now. Shield, shield, shield. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you trying to exist in the middle? You can't just stay here. You have to either say, nope, I'm willing to take this, or I'm not. If you're not, it's back here. You don't have a cart to let you pick cover in the mid, so it's back here. If you are, and I can live with that, you push here. And given that your Reaper thinks it's safe, given that your Hog is clearly interested in going, I'm pretty interested in going here too. And I can go here and throw a bear, and this bear is gonna work for a while. It's going to be like, hey, unless you guys are willing to carry behind here, this works. And if you carry behind there, well, that's plenty of time for us to get the cart, basically to the we win the game point. You like existing? Yeah, that's fair. Existing's pretty cool.
Just a scratch, you'll be fine.
Okay. But again, I don't love this barrier, because you're still just sort of existing in the middle here. Like, oh no, I have a barrier. And look, my barrier is extending cover. I'm playing Orisa correctly. Your barrier is not extending cover. This isn't cover for you. This could be your barrier extending cover. Like, back there could be your barrier extending cover. This is not your barrier extending cover. This is you existing in the open. And just hoping that your barrier doesn't get blown up. Which they're a little disorganized and it's not. And imagine how easy it would have been to be like barrier supercharger, we're winning this, and them to be like, but we don't like that. And you'd be like, yeah, cool, good.
Cease your resistance.
Oh!
Cease your resistance.
Press one ability? Press all the abilities.
Defense mode activated.
Why not? Can we get a halt to go with it? No.
Step right up.
At least we finished that reload before the halt. Watch Zarya tracking.
Step right up. It's time.
No, you're trying to full track without enough prediction. And that's something that you've worked on and improved before, so I don't want that to go away. Like, I think you took a break, you haven't been playing much, as you said, rusty, etc. That's something that you wouldn't want to go too long without doing. Like, and what I mean by that is you don't want to come back and not be doing that for an extended period of time, leading appropriately with tracking weapons, because that, you don't want that to work its way out of your system. That's very critical, that's very crucial, and the more time you spend actually trying to work on your aim, like aiming isn't something where you can go, I try to work on my aim and I get my aim up in a week type thing. Like aiming's not that, from gold to GM level. I'm not saying that that's your goal, but it's not something you can do that on, even if you put 20 hours, 30 hours a week into working on. It's just a skill that tends to build a little slower than some of the other skills. So we sort of like that drip feed of working on it. So we don't want there to be a serious reversion there, but a reversion there, I don't mind that your aim is worse necessarily. I mean a reversion there in the form of the technique, where we've got to be thinking about leading the shots, be thinking about where they're going. And your halt will help you with that. It will help you with thinking where they're going, because sometimes it'll knock it off, and sometimes it'll be like they're going up and I can track them the whole way down. Sometimes it's just a route, but you still can tell they're probably going to want to spread from their team a bit if you halted multiple of them like that, or they're going to keep going to the cover they were trying to go to before. Or finally, what did I say? Pull them together can happen. They're easy to get on the way down. They're easy to get after the halt. They run from the halt, and that's easy to get. There's another one. I'm blanking on it. That's fine. Oh. Adam comes in with the 199 super chat saying temporal sucks. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for the 199 super chat. Even if I disagree with your message, that's okay. I'm happy for you to get your message out there in the form of super chats. Okay. You were gold, you sunk again. And that's fine, but I would be careful again not to let that go too far, not because, oh, it's super important what SR you at, but that's a skill that you knew how to do better, and that's one of those ones that you don't want gone for too long because you're going to have to keep working on it. It's not that you have to keep working on it. It's that if you're actively aiming, your aim will sort of naturally get better over time. But you're not necessarily actively aiming, or you're not actively aiming correctly when you're doing this. I'm going to try to follow tracking as opposed to predictive tracking. So I would want that because I would be worried about how it's going to affect your soldier, your bastion, your other heroes, as well as your Orisa here. So that would be the first thing that I'd actually put some mental focus on your Orisa. The second thing that I'd put your mental focus on is your abilities, all of them. And I don't just mean that in a tongue-in-cheek way, but I mean that in like you tend to be in like, I forget I have abilities, I forget I have abilities, I forget I have, oh look, all of my abilities. Let's try to break this down, and we'll try to break it down one at a time. One at a time, it's going to be, hey, let's start with we want to go ahead and, if we have one of our defensive abilities, our shield or our fortify, we don't really want to use the other. We want to be like, hey, I'd like these to get different values on my time scale. I'd like it to sort of be like shield, fortify, shield, or maybe it's going to be, hey, fortify, shield, or maybe it's going to be we had a pre-shield, a second shield because we double stacked shields when the match started, then we just have hard cover, then we have another shield, then we have a fortify, then we have a shield, like that could happen. Or hey, maybe we had a shield and it gets canceled, quote unquote, early because someone walks through it and we do have to fortify, so be it. But if we drive this person back, we're going to go to the other side of our shield ourselves, unless we're super low health, to tank for our shield type thing. Like you are going to have some durability issues if you are using both of those cooldowns together the way you are. So we would like to, I hesitate to say stagger them. The stagger them's the right word because it's not. I don't want to create the trap of you thinking that it's this thing where it's like, oh, Orisa's about maximum uptime. No, her shield timing for her placement absolutely matters. Her fortify timing for pushes absolutely matters. But when you open that correct time, you would like to be able to do both if you can, as opposed to, whoops, I stacked these and now I don't get as much value. Um, and then finally, I would say, like your halt, just literally think about your halt. Remember that it exists. Like, oh, hey, halt exists. I can use this. I can move enemies with this, and that'll dovetail nicely with the tracking work that you're doing. There's way more and way deeper that we can go on halt, but really, it's at this point, dovetail it with your aim and stop interrupting your reloads with it. Okay. Okay. That's gonna cover this one. Oh, where are we on this one? That should cover this one. Do we want to look a little bit at the next one? We could look a little bit at the next one. Yeah, we'll look at a few minutes of the next one. We're not gonna probably do the full 8, but we'll look at part of it. Adam's having some fun up there, so let's take a look here. What does Adam had to say? So don't listen to him. Listen to Larpmet. He's a deceiver, a charlatan. Yeah, well, I don't know why you'd say those nasty things about Larpmet, a deceiver and a charlatan, but
Traveling to Hanamura.
those are some fancy words. Did you learn those at school? He's learning how to use a thesaurus. Ah. Question 1. As Mercy, which moment of Winston's jump must be damage boosted for it to count? The landing. The actual landing is my understanding. I could be mistaken. That would be a big change. I know he is the projectile, so I could see why you might think it would have to be the jump itself. I don't think they ever changed it so that it had to be the jump itself, though, the way that they did for actual projectiles there. Question 2. As Mercy, how does damage boost timing work on Doomfist on Doomfist wallbang bonus? Only boost the punch or hold boost till they hit the wall too? It's a good question. I would have said it's only I would have said it's only the punch itself, but I can't say that with certainty that's really any greater than 80% or so. So I don't have the answer there. We might have to do some experimenting to find out there. And that would be good to know. It's not a ton of difference because if someone's getting at a wall, they pop like lightning into that wall, but there's time there. You can react to that time. Do the start, some diva. Do you think getting a hit marker every time? Don't you get a hit marker every time you damage boost anything? That way you can learn what the damage boost actually applies. Yeah, though it doesn't get your hit marker if you're like helping someone break shields, or if your damage boosted McCree is intimidating the enemies out of taking threatening angles against your team, rotating, etc. That doesn't mean it doesn't have value. Okay, let's get a little bit of diva here. We did talk about some diva. You were taking angles. Fine. We talked about the aggressive scoop play that you could be making. That's obviously not the only thing that you could be doing on diva, but we did see quite a bit of opportunity for that in the first bit you played her on the other map. Temporal, more like Team Seaver. You're trying to like make it Deceiver, but. Oh, a Bastion. Lovely. Nope, nope, nope. And I don't want to do this because I already heard the Bastion. I have a pretty good idea of where the Bastion is based on hearing him, based on what I've seen. And I don't want to go do this fancy, like, aha, I'm going to get here. Because, like, no, the Bastion's just going to crush me. If I go here, I'm going to have to also go over here and then wait and then try to dive from here. And that could be okay, but it's tough with the Bastion there. And that Bastion is really close to the front. So since that Bastion is so close to the front, I'm willing to just sort of wait here and just go in and try to run him over with my DM in his face as we try and run him over. Like, his team is tacked pretty tightly. Your DM is going to get a lot of value. I'm good with that. Just time it to when your team looks like they're pushing. I used to think it was a food-based name. It's more of a time-based name, but hey.
I need healing. Forward barrier. Shoot down. Time to raise my HPN. Get through this.
No, you got too close. So, like, I get it. Fine. DM? 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 I don't need damage, I need DM. And now I'm too close. Like, I didn't actually want to get all the way in here. I was perfectly happy being a little bit back, still having my DM over him. I was also perfectly happy being like, pushing 3, 2, 1, and then, like, boost and immediately stop just to get your team moving, and then be DMing this whole load of stuff as your team runs in and takes down the Bastion. You're trying to do both the, like, I cover the Bastion and I take it down type thing, and we do get past that eventually. Like, you do the nope, I cover, I might be part of the Bastion damage, but my team is really going to do more of the work here. I'm just giving them a fat 2-second window to be like, okay, we're taking care of this. Which, yes, does require you to read your team a bit and does require someone to have a little bit of courage that's not you. Deception is what temporal? Deception is what temporal, if that's what you're really called. It's truly good, and it can coach you at deceiving the innocents. I asked for Immortality Field from Becky, but I see now she placed it a little too far back. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. She was trying to, she was trying to protect it. She was going, hey, I'm going to lamp this, and you try to lamp sometimes on these things so that the lamp is, if you're shooting at BAP, you can't shoot at the lamp, but BAP can shoot at you and is an immortal. So, like, that's the thought that is going on there. It's just not quite an understanding of the play. There's not an understanding between really anyone on your team of what the play actually is. And the play is, hey, we're going to run this basically 6 at this Bastion, and Diva is going to be part of it, blocking out the Bastion, preferably towards the back of it, still protecting the front person, but towards the back of it so that she can have the widest angle to cover the whole thing, because her DM gets wider as she goes forward there, and being out is always a wider angle, as we know. Temporal leads his flock into the sight of sentry bastions with with his wicked advice. Something like that. Something like that.
On my way. Get here.
So conceptually this is good, but I don't want to exist here. I don't want to exist here at all. Like, if I'm using boosters to get here, I now want to get myself out as much as I can so that I can use my second boosters to commit, to be like, hey, I'm using this to help deal with whatever it is that we need to push into, which, you know, if it wasn't the Bastion, would be the Bastion. It's rare that I go, I'm through, I want to poke a little, and then I want to go in. The only time I do that is when they haven't set up someone over here, maybe over here. It's when they've said everyone up here, and you can be like, oh, okay, well, I can help unlock the choke by being here. But they didn't do that. They didn't overgreed this. They have their Ash over here. So that means that you don't need to hard unlock this choke. You'd still like to unlock this choke, but it's more important that you go, okay, I'm going to go do this. Now I'll sneakily go get health. I'll work my way up, and I'll go bother this here type thing. And this is, you know, doable because the Bastion isn't on the field. When the Bastion was on the field, you needed to think more in terms of tackling the Bastion as a team. Yeah, no poke game when Bastion's on the board. You enable the tackle of him or you perish. Okay. I believe. I believe. Mike took down Becky. What regular names we have in here? Oh no. Why is your aim so low? Why is your crosshair down here? Why is your crosshair down at her feet? Now her knees. We're having to jump to get anything that's a headshot. We don't need to shoot at her waist or her hips. We can bring that up. We want to be shooting more like default to the neck height.
Thank you.
The shoulder height. Center mass shoulder, but the shoulder height. Yeah, it didn't need that. Is that all first? If so, I think we'll call it here. Yeah. So, cap. So, I imagine the reason you wanted this game reviewed was because Bastion. Bastion is annoying when you're not playing him, I know. This is unfortunately a comps thing, you can't necessarily be the initiator all by yourself. You can try to initiate it on comps, but ultimately the hard dive the Bastion thing isn't gonna work if you don't have a little bit more in terms of diver on your team than you did here. So you want to, instead of be like, aha, I hard tackle or I hard dive the Bastion, it's more of like, okay, well, we'll tackle him. We'll run at him together, and I just won't let him act. And even if I don't do a ton of damage to him, even if I only do half the damage I could to him, I'm sort of my DM is protecting my whole team quite well on their way across. And 2 seconds is plenty of time, even for a packeted Bastion to go down if he's going to be so silly as to aggress here. When he's not on the board, that's when we do what I think is your now default, which is let's get a little more over here, play the neutral mid game until we see an opening, which that's fine when the Bastion isn't there. Okay. I think that's going to do it. We covered lots of Orisa there. We got a little bit into Diva. Remember, Diva will also have that same tracking as the Soldier and such, and the Orisa to a degree, though again, hers is projectile, where you do want to be trying to lead a little, even if reality is your slight leading tends to be closer to center mass, but we do want to try to be leading a little bit here. Okay. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do, and I didn't see that as an issue particularly on Diva. I'm just pointing out, hey, that is a very similar aim type that we're looking at here, and we would hate to see a character that you've put some polish into fall too much from that. Okay. So is temporal napping now, or is another VOD coming up sometime? I might do one more VOD today, but it would be an off-the-air, well, it would be a session that I then uploaded. I may reschedule that depending on the person's availability, but I won't do any more streaming today, no. Temporal naps to recharge his evil meter so we can deceive better. Deceive. Okay. If you guys have questions, throw them up in chat now. If you're enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you once again, Adam, for the 199 super chats. And I don't see anything question-wise. I'll give it just another moment or two here. Notice I'm going to use moment, a somewhat hard to precisely measure amount of time, so that when I've in the past said minute and then only given like 15 to 20 seconds, you guys have reasonably got upset. So moment or two. No questions here. And I'm not seeing any from anyone else either, so I think we are good to go. Look forward to seeing more of you guys in the coming days. Thanks, guys. Temporal out. Oh, so what? So got it. I caught it in time. Yes. So what benefits Gamebuster more enable him or team? Um, what enables Gamebuster more enable him or team? More enabling the team. Gamebuster had a window where he went hyper aggressive on Diva. Um, he had a window where he did that. He's mostly brought that back into check, and he's now looking for team stuff. So enabling the team to do stuff when he's enabling it, like further enabling stuff that he's enabling, or enabling the team to make plays while that's happening is going to help. And Gamebuster, even on the Orisa, wasn't afraid to go take those off angles, etc. Which, hey, doesn't need support on those off angles. So I would say generally team is going to be the answer. If she's Mercy, I don't like pocket Mercies. I usually waste them. Yeah, that's the thing. If you have a pocket Mercy, you have to get the value out of having that second contribution, and you have to take more aggressive positions to do more work. You simply have to if it's going to work out. So I would say if it were a duo thing of you two, of hey, we've got the Mercy and the Gamebuster here who's bouncing between some tanks, I would say it would be better to go with the supporting the team as a general rule. That is not in any way a hard rule. If he pulls out the Bastion, though, no, you're not going to hard pocket him, but you're going to have some fun times jumping over to him when he's in wild places. And by fun times, I mean not fun times. There can be very unfun times. You can get eliminated. Uh, if I want to support to help me, I'd ask for Anna for the heals. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, that's going to do it for real, guys. Thanks, Tempora.